together and create another Nelson Vales, like Major Taylor created the Nelson Vales, so Nelson Vales can create something else. I'm it.
Wow.
That's what I say when I wake up every day. And I go for a bike ride. Wow. Every pedal stroke on this ride, we will all make history. So don't be shy to take a picture for your grandkids that we shared this moment as if you were with Major Taylor sharing this moment.
Yes, and that's a part of our highlight during the 7:30 session.
Yes.
Nelson will speak to, I quote his statement, living Black history. And that's what we're doing here. So I feel like, see, we can easily start getting into a great conversation. And I want to be true to the promos. You know, we said 7:30. So for those who are arranging their life to be with us at 7:30, I don't want to disappoint and have gotten into some good dialogue before 7:30. So I'm resisting the temptation to go further. But until 7:30, about 25. Oh, I was gonna say we can look at Nelson's video playing in the background. I mean, just the visuals of like going around that track. Like, at what speeds were you traveling? Oh, okay, you're taking a break. So yeah, this is some of the footage that will be shown and narrated in Ithaca by Nelson during our mixer/speakeasy that we'll have on Friday night. So definitely, if you are planning to join us, arrive on Thursday so you can partake in all the great activities we have planned on Friday. Wow. Yeah, someone asked, is it okay to put questions in the chat now? Certainly. And that will be one of the things that I open with, that as we dialogue, I would like for you guys, if you have questions for Nelson, post them in the chat. And when we get to that live Q&A part, I will be reading off your question to Nelson for Nelson to respond to that. We figured it's better to do it in the chat because if we unmute people, sometimes people can get wordy with their questions and we want to kind of stick to a tight timeline. So if you can chat your questions in the chat box, we will definitely pose those to Nelson. But before that, we have some of the top topics that we listed in the flyer that we will start off with. So Nelson and I will kind of do a tennis match back and forth, have some good dialogue. We had great conversation yesterday, right, Nelson? It kind of changed my focus and challenged me with my mindset for cycling. So we definitely look forward to sharing more of that. I don't like how my glasses have the blue reflection in it. Jeez. So I'm trying to angle my head different ways.
Hey, Tina, it's Jason. I was able to go ahead and I think that live stream is working over on YouTube.
Okay, do I have to do anything differently or?
Nope. The only thing is you may not be able to hear my voice because of the way things are set up, but I'm the least important to hear during all this. So,
you know, I noticed when I was playing around in Zoom, I was able to pin multiple people. So in the beginning, I wanted to pin myself and Nelson. Do you know how to do that? Or Glenn, do you know how to do that? I don't see it in this.
I'm not sure how to.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Let's see. And you're recording this, Jason? Right?
Yeah, a couple different ways.
Okay, awesome. So I don't have to click record. So, come on, people. So for those that are on the line, if you can just post in the chat what city you are in or where you're from, give us a sense of who's in the space with us, sharing this historic moment. So I'll kick it off because, so if you're in the chat, let's see, 2 Nelson, DC, Mark, Gorski, much. Look, my city location is obvious. Wait, I'm saying. Send chat.
Hello. Let me clear my throat. Sound check. 1, 2, 3. Am I good without yelling? Does
Yeah.
it sound okay? Conversational wise?
Yes.
Hear that?
Yeah, I hear the phone ringing.
No, that's the alarm to get my beer out of the freezer.
Are you serious?
Not gonna lie, that was priceless. He set an alarm for his beer in the freezer. That's
Right.
that's real stuff right there.
A new level of cycling conditioning, right?
That's a man after my own heart. I don't know what to say.
Okay, let's see.
4 minutes to go.
We have
Yeah, we're going live. I'm ready.
We have Japan in the house. We have Ithaca in the house. We have New York in the house. We have people from a lot of different areas, Tina, popping up in the chat.
Yeah, I see that. And I see Paula Jones, New York, Chicago. Reverend Terrence King from Ithaca. Woo-hoo. One of the historic Underground Railroad stops that we will be visiting. And I promise you, it will be a very moving and historic, profound experience. So I definitely look forward to seeing everybody's reaction there. So welcome, Reverend Terrence King. I think you were the one in the video with Glenn, right? Fairfax, Virginia. Carb load before the chat. Oh, Baron, you must have that. Hey, that's one of our topics. One of the chat comments was to your beer alarm, carb loading before the meeting. That was funny. Paula Jones, Chesapeake, yes. Oh yeah, okay, Terrence, I see.
Okay, guys. Hey, question.
Yes.
So, Jason.
Yes.
How are you? Can you hear me?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Okay, I thought there was a delay. All right. So, are you going to be talking in the background of what's coming up next, or is it just as Tina and I converse?
So no, I'm not moderating. That's going to be Tina, 100%. So what I'm going to do is in about 4 minutes.
Yeah.
I'm going to introduce Tina, and then from then on, it's the Tina moderation hour.
Okay. Super.
And so it's just going to be you guys having a conversation. As a matter of fact, I'm not sure unless I have to interject. I'd see no reason why you really hear my voice again, to be honest. I hate to say it that way, but
and let's see, I think we're gonna mute all, then I will, or Glenn, can you mute your line?
he's muted.
Okay, he wasn't muted. And then Nelson, I need you to unmute.
I don't think you can unmute people. You can ask them to unmute though.
Oh, okay.
I know, right?
Right. Well, that's the polite thing to do.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, what happened to Nelson? I don't see him in here.
Did you lose me?
Oh, okay. Yeah, I was trying to find your name on the list. Okay, you're here. Okay. All right, we got 3 minutes, Dougie Fresh. 30 people. All righty. So I have content to share. So Jason will intro me, then I will intro the call. Then I will go through the agenda. Then we're gonna play a short video from our Academy Award winning club members that did the recon visit to Ithaca. They're gonna invite you all in to the world of Harriet Tubman Freedom Ride. And then we'll continue into the space. Sounds like Glenn wants to do a presentation.
2 minutes.
2 minutes, Dougie Fresh. I know it's 6 minutes for my old school.
6 minutes.
6 minutes. 6 minutes, Dougie Fresh.
Oh, jeez.
Mm-hmm.
How did I not see that? How did I
Anybody
not see that coming?
Right? Oh my God. Okay. I see more people hopping on the line, which is awesome. Makeda, I'm so happy that you are joining the call. Makeda saw our post in a cycling group and had plans to come to Ithaca, I think in August, and changed her plans, and she's joining us for the Harriet Tubman Freedom Ride. And she's going to set a personal best.
So real quick, Tina, between live time, I suppose, and the the YouTube live stream, there's about a 6-second delay, just so you know.
Oh, okay.
So in case something seems weird, like people aren't reacting, if there's anyone on YouTube looking at something. But I did post it in the chat up there, and it is working. You can hear audio, you hear everything just fine.
So will I so if people in Instagram world chat, will you say their question?
I have I have YouTube open.
Okay. You can either post it in the Zoom chat or just post it in the Zoom chat if you can.
Yeah, I'll copy and paste it in Zoom chat for you. All right, Tina, 7:30. You want to get started?
Yep.
I know, right?
Let's do it now.
Yeah, smile. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Major Taylor Cycling Club's Zoom with Nelly, a live conversation with Olympic cyclist Nelson Vales. Our club has been working on an epic cycling event with Nelson Vales called the Harriet Tubman Freedom Ride. My name is Jason Ward, and I'm the president of the Major Taylor Cycling Club of Chicago. I'd like to introduce you to tonight's moderator, Tina Turner, our very own club member and social media marketing champion for the Harriet Tubman Freedom Ride. I hope that you give Tina Nelson Vales your attention, and Tina Nelson and all of Major Taylor Cycling Club Chicago hope to see you in Ithaca on July 23rd, 24th, and 25th for fun, challenging, and historical Harriet Tubman Freedom Ride. Tina, take it from here.
Yay. Thank you for that, Jason. Hey, everybody on the line, feel free to use the reactions. It makes us be more connected as you hear things that you agree with or want to show some love to. So I'm going to share my screen here, and I'm going to share. Oh, you're not supposed to see that? You're not supposed to see that? Let me, there we go. Okay, here we go. So this is, so welcome to the Harriet Tubman Freedom Ride, presented by the Major Taylor Cycling Club of Chicago. This is our opportunity to transition from riding in the path of our namesake of our club, Major Taylor, to actually interacting with the live and living legend, Nelson Vales. Nelson Bales, he's the first and only African-American Olympic medalist for cycling. Nelson grew his cycling legs in New York, the Harlem area of New York. And surprisingly, he started off as a bike messenger. And he was affectionately called the Cheetah because he was that daggone fast. So he transitioned from that kind of vocational riding to being a world-renowned cycling champion, winning the 1984 silver medalist award during the 1984 Olympics in LA. So with that, I want to just give, before I transition to Nelson, and this is him and his swag, looking very strong there. We're going to learn from Nelson and hopefully upgrade our cycle swag, not just physically, but mentally. And Nelson will address both spaces. So you're going to get a welcome and an introduction from the Harriet Tubman Freedom Ride Planning Committee. We're going to talk about this awesome one-of-a-kind jersey we have. We're going to talk about living Black history, which we have before us in the presence of Nelson Bales in the space of cycling. Then we're going to get those pro tips from Nelson Bales. We're going to have that back and forth dialogue on topics that cyclists said they would like to learn more about. Nelson will go through some of the Harriet Tubman Freedom Ride routes that we will actually cycle, which are actual routes of the Underground Railroad path, which is historic. And then we're going to open it up to the live Q&A with Nelson. So throughout this session, definitely chat in any questions you have, and we'll make sure we funnel them at that point. So now I want to open with this welcome from our committee members. We're waiting. Here we go.
You have to share your sound.
Did somebody say share my sound?
Yes, we can't. Is there supposed to be sound with the
Yeah, there's.
Yes. Okay, I just did share sound. So my apologies for the technical difficulties, but can you guys hear now?
Yeah, this is Taconic Falls. In fact, here's a couple of photos of Taconic Falls from the upper observation deck.
Now, when I tell you it's beautiful, it's breathtaking. So believe it. Come and enjoy it. Ithaca, July 23rd, July 24th, July 25th. Major Taylor, come and visit Harriet Tubman.
Awesome. So that was a little welcome from our group. Now I can't get back to my slides. Oh my gosh. Okay, there we go. All right. So now, so that was a welcome from Irvin and Glenn. They are part of our planning committee for this ride, and they went out and did recon to make sure everything will be awesome for us when we get there in July. I just wanted to take a moment to plug this one-of-a-kind cycling jersey that we have. And what's nice about this jersey, so a couple of logistical things I wanted to share with you all, and that is, when you look at this jersey, I mean, wouldn't you say this is a nice looking jersey? Can I get a thumbs up from the participants? But this jersey, the way it's designed, has some historical elements to it. So when you look at this jersey, the right shoulder has this nice black and white pattern. You would think, oh, that's just for aesthetics. Actually, we purposely put this pattern on because this is the pattern of the North Star. This represents the North Star. And as Harriet would take her journey from the South to the North, she would use the North Star as her guide to know which way to go. So that's why on this jersey, we have Harriet Tubman facing the North Star, or the pattern on the right shoulder. Also, if you look here on the back of the jersey, the logo for the Harriet Tubman Freedom Ride, if you notice of these 3 cyclists, the front cyclist is a female to represent a female being a trailblazer, leading people, men and women and children, to freedom. So that's what you have on the back of this jersey. Now, in addition to this logo kind of element here, these symbols on the back of this jersey are West African symbols. And I just want to highlight what this first one is, the monkey wrench. So the monkey wrench is the first one. Okay, so this symbolizes, where's my cursor? So this symbolizes the gathering of tools for the journey. All right, the other symbol represents the bear claw, which is the symbol to follow the path of the bear, which is what Harriet did often, because it would lead them to finding food as they took the journey from the South to the North. The last symbol is the drunkard path, and so this was a symbol for instructions to not travel in a straight path, so as not to be easily tracked. So there's a lot of history in these jerseys. So definitely snag you one, whether you're coming on this ride or not. So I just want to highlight the last day to order this jersey is June 27. Definitely go to our website and you will see the details to order this jersey. Now we're getting to the good part of this session, and we're going to transition this part of our time together to Nelson to talk about living Black history and allow him, a Harlem kid that started off in the streets of Harlem, to being the United States' first and only African-American Olympic medalist for cycling. So Nelson, I'd like to turn it over to you.
Well, thank you so much. That was such a great introduction. And the history of the jersey, I have to definitely order one. So for all our listeners out there, just go online, of course, on nelsonbells.com. You can just click, it'll take you right to the Major Taylor website where you can, the Major Taylor Cycling Club of Chicago, and just go ahead and click buy now. But hey, thank you so much. And before we start the segment, I was part of the meeting. I overheard some of your staff meeting, and it's just a wonderful honor to be able to do this modern day Zoom type of call, something that Major Taylor didn't have 100 years ago, to be able to get the word out to the Harriet Tubmans of the world and others of the world, the way we can share this information now today. So I'm happy to share my life with all of you as I am living Black history.
Okay. So we will weave that throughout the stories that Nelson will share as we begin the moderation part of this call. So we surveyed a group of cyclists from all experience levels, ages, and these are some of the main topics that they wanted to hear Nelson's view on. So Nelson, conditioning for cycling. When you hear that, what are some of the things that come to mind right off the top? How would you condition to improve your cycling experience?
Now that was a great question. I get that question asked a lot, and I always focus on the individual. It's amazing how you can produce so many athletes by getting coached online if that person follows the game in the program. It actually works. So conditioning is you knowing yourself. You know, there's the big person, the small person. So the big fast person is good, but the small soft person is smarter. You know, how do you balance that power to weight ratio to get the conditioning? So for me, just for me and how I operate, I have a 10-mile loop and a 20-mile loop around my residence. And I usually don't wander off into the weekend because, like you, I work also, but I try to get out. Try meaning you're lying. So if you're trying, you're lying, which means I get out for lunch on a Tuesday and a Thursday for sure. This morning I went out early because of the call, and I set my goals to go out for 90 minutes, and it ended up being 2 hours, 5 minutes. It's not on Strava yet, but it was an out and back. Things like that. And that's what works for me. And for someone like yourself, conditioning is, what can you do within your 24 hours of your commitment to say, hey, I just want some saddle time. You don't have to race for 25 miles in an hour. You just have to go out for 10 miles in an hour. And that's conditioning. Or go for the walk. Anything but sit on the couch. If you can leave your desk and your computer and get outside, now is the time to do it.
So Nelson, we also talked about off-bike conditioning and some of the disciplines that you talked about. Can you mention those, like some of the off-bike conditioning regimens that you have?
You know, I smile about that question because I always think about the parenting. I come from the parenting of the 11th child, the baby of 10 kids, right? The parenting of getting your goals started within your 24 hours. You know, that was something for my dad. You have 24 hours and how are you going to use it? You know, so you shouldn't be in a rush. Things like that. So, you know, whether you're going to make your bed every morning and brush your teeth, whatever your routine is, that's your goal for the day. But now if you're going to say that you're going to go out and ride or go for a walk, you have to commit yourself and not give yourselves false hopes, because that's where we all find ourselves in that flickering light bulb. Everybody's looking at this now. Your light bulb, it's like, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do my sit-ups. I'm gonna do this. Oh, and then you come up with an excuse. So the idea is to commit yourself to not only making your bed when you get out of bed, but to continue your day with what you set off to do. You can't make it up tomorrow if you didn't say you were gonna do it today. You can't do tomorrow. You can't do twice as much the next day. So just stay on your routine within your limits of your 24 hours.
Now, another thing we talked about, like with the Harriet Tubman Freedom Ride, we have 3 route options, the century, metric, and half metric. So for someone who wants to level up and make Harriet the Ithaca ride, like that ride that they're really gonna, you know, get their longest ride ever, what conditioning practices should they take on between now and July 23rd or 24th?
You know, that is a great question. That is a great question. For me, I'm gonna use myself as an example, and let's try to look at yourself, picture yourself as I speak. Again, you wanna be able to have saddle time. Again, we're gonna start with your 24 hours from what you're gonna do each day to be able to enjoy the ride. So the whole idea, you're gonna make this journey and enjoy this historic bicycle ride recreationally, but you wanna be able to have fun. You don't wanna suffer, because Ithaca is number one, not flat. But what goes up must go down, and there's a lot of downs in Ithaca. You know, there's some ups, but there's a lot of fun downs, and that's where we're going to talk again about conditioning. So commit yourself to that 10, 20 miles. If you can start riding 20 miles without stopping other than at a stoplight, you're going good. And you don't have to be fast. 13, 14, if that's your speed, that's your speed. For me, I'm 17. And 19 on the downhill. So for you, if your speed is 14, 16, let everybody else go ahead, because you want to be able to enjoy yourself, number one, throughout your journey. And there's always someone in the group at the same speed as you. And if you're by yourself, you're going to stop and take pictures. So that's number one of the discipline. I want to continue on with that same thought of thinking about you as an individual to have some fun, which is the goal is to be able to try to ride at least 40 miles without stopping. For me, the temperature now is San Diego, California. I go through 1 water bottle every 20 miles. So I do not sip my water, I drink my water. That is part of the conditioning for you to have saddle time. So if you can go out for 20, 30 miles without stopping and go through a couple of water bottles from driveway to driveway, your conditioning is starting to come on to you. The idea is you still have to be productive when you land back at home. You don't want to go out and kill yourself. You want to go out for a bicycle ride. Because when you're with the group, you're going to cover the miles. The miles are going to come to you. You won't do the miles. When we do the group ride together, we won't, the miles is going to come to us. We won't do the miles, however many miles it is, because we're going to stop, put a foot down, take lots of pictures, because we have cameras now and we're not racing. We're not going to miss anything. If you get there too fast, you're going to, nothing's going to be ready for you at the other side. How's that? So things like that.
Yeah, because sometimes cyclists try not to drink while riding because they don't want to have to use the bathroom. But when it's hot outside, that's a part of your conditioning to extend your performance over time, right?
Yes, and speaking of extending your performance over time, nutrition, I want to just touch on that, and then we can do some Q&A, you and I. I have my own drink mix that I like. People like your Gatorades. I like a goo mix. That's what I do. So when I go to the Harriet Tubman ride, I won't go and try something new for the ride. I'll bring my own to start with. So if you're going to start trying something new, you try it over the counter when you do your bicycle rides locally. So don't come on this trip and try some new stuff, fixing your saddle and getting a new something for this ride. If your bike is good today, it's going to be good 30 days from now. Just clean the chain and clean your bike before you go up.
Right. So two other things regarding the cycling. We talked about the conditioning for those that live in the Midwest, how, it stifles our outdoor performance, right? So how can we balance? I mean, now for some of us, we're just really starting to get that outdoor saddle time. So how can you kind of extend your conditioning for the winter time as well as the summertime?
That's another good question, because I was that individual growing up in New York. We had 4 seasons. So I'm going to start out with an example. Of an individual that lives in California that can be outside every day, all day. You don't notice, but they begin to go 1 speed because they have outside every day, all day. When you're on the East Coast, Midwest, and you got that snow and you can't go out, you don't want to go out, and it's okay not to want to go out. You find yourself riding indoor trainers and you're itching to go out. So when you do go out, it's like a horse leaving the gate. The whole idea is when that horse leaves the gate, you have to moderate. Again, your conditioning. Start drinking your water. Don't sip your water on the rides. Start taking it to 10 miles to the 20-mile point and feel good about yourself. You don't want to be dead. You want to go to where I'm feeling good. I'm going to turn around now. Don't say I'm feeling good and keep going. You say, I feel good. I'm going to turn around now. Because you're going to go home and do nothing and you're going to start at noon. How's that? And a lot of listeners should be laughing by now, but that's the idea. That's my motivation. I go out for the 8 o'clock ride and it's like, hey, I'm going to take my time and go home because I want to do nothing when I get home around noon, have some lunch and chill out and not be dead on the couch, but be productive and do what I'm told if you're married.
Right. So one last element, does size matter when it comes to conditioning for cycling? Because
that question comes up too, because I'm a big guy, and being on part of a team sport, you have the sprinters, you have the road riders, the little guys, skinny guys. It's all called power to weight ratio. People are utilizing these computers on their bike with wattage now. That's only power to weight. So the little skinny guy is putting out all these watts. It's because he has a lot of saddle time and miles. Conditioning. That's what that comes from. So for the little skinny guy that is not as fast as the big guy, the little skinny guy can ride smarter and go longer with the proper conditioning. The big guy, the Goliath of the guy, would have to moderate. It's again, the power to weight. I'm a big guy. I'm running 220 on my bike rides, and I live 16 miles up top of my residential. So from the coast, I ride uphill 16 miles. So there's no cheat, no calling mama. So I find my gears and I find my music and I chill and I go home.
Okay. All right.
Get there.
Yes. So let's move on to nutrition. So the question is around, should you eat before certain rides if you're building speed endurance? If you're doing a slow roll kind of ride, should you eat a different kind of way? So how should your nutrition flex with different kinds of rides?
Let's play with that idea. We're gonna play with that idea. We're gonna put it in an A and a B category. A to B category, we'll move to C. So the A category is, it's always nice to have a breakfast. Some people, you and I talk, some people don't have breakfast. They can't do breakfast. The idea to have breakfast is you will run out of gas if you don't have something to eat on your 30-mile bike ride. It will happen. You're not that good. No one's that good anymore at the rate that some of the groups are going if you're going to do the group ride. So for me, I use myself as an example. I get up at 5:30 so I can take my time and have my coffee and watch the weather and look at my outfits of what am I going to really wear and change my outfit, use the restroom, and then I'm good to go because I had a food 90 minutes before, something, piece of toast with some peanut butter. I have that banana, I take a banana because I don't like to eat as much also. But if I'm going to do the big Century ride, then I'm having the bacon and eggs, some rice, things like that. So that's another subject. That's the A and the B of what we're going to talk about. So first of all, for the beginners or the people that are just as reminders, eat something, take that energy bar. If you want to try something new on the bike rides, is now the time to do it. You don't want to wait till you get to the event rides and start trying something new. You want to try to do it when you leave your driveway of, I'm going to try this out and see how it works at this distance. You're going to try this new drink and see how it works at this distance. So use your weekend group rides to play around with some stuff. So when you guys do the weekend fun, get together, real banging rides, the Harriet Tubman rides where you're going around the lake and it's going to be a 100-mile day with some stops, you want to be able to have fun and not run out of gas.
Okay. All right. So lastly, let's touch on hydration before we move on to the other subject area. And we kind of touched on it a little bit, but hydrating before, during, and post rides. And when you're hydrating, what should be in your bottle? Should it be Gatorade? Should you add electrolytes? Like, what should it be?
For me, in old school, there are so many performance electrolyte drinks out there now, and a lot of them are great. I can't even say which ones are crap because I would not know. For the enthusiasts, if you have yours that you like and the store still has it, use that. If you want to try something new, then of course try it, and you got to measure your trying. Again, if you're going to try something new, you got to look at your distance of where you're trying this and how you feel about it. So as an adult, you moderate and monitor your intake on trying something new. Now, hydration. Number one rule, I learned this as a kid in a road race as a sprinter. You do not sip your water, you drink your water. You see the bike races on TV and you see water bottles flying. Their water bottles is empty because they drink their water. They do not sip their water. If you sip your water, you will cramp eventually down the road.
Now, if you're on a long ride and say you're sweating a lot, would that increase your lean towards adding electrolytes to your water so you're replacing the electrolytes you're losing through sweating?
That's a good question. Again, for those, and most of us do, try to carry 2 water bottles so you always have that water and you have your electrolyte. Whether you have to stop at the convenience store and get a Gatorade, now they have some of the packets that you can pour in, or you have the packets that you carry in your pocket. So again, whatever electrolyte suits your tummy, whatever electrolyte suits your tummy, you stick with it. Because when you start trying something new, sometimes it doesn't work on a new long ride that you don't know the route. So watch out for that, folks. Stick with what you got. If they're carrying it and you're going to try something new because you got it at an event and you like it, then you buy it and support that event, that vendor, and you start using it to see how it works for you. You know, then you tell a friend if it may work for them.
Right. But don't use the new stuff at the rides because you don't want to get sick.
Don't use the new stuff at the new Century ride that you sign up and you have the vendor expos. You don't want to do that the night before, and speaking of the night before, again, drink your water the night before, bottled water. If I can speak out loud, your urine should be clear and not yellow, especially after the ride.
Oh, okay. All right. And even during your rest stops, you can do a check-in with yourself.
If you can, I'm happy you brought that up. Fellas, ladies, if you can have a peek at some clear water and make sure that it's not yellow golden, then you're not going through the dehydration where you have to start bringing in the sugars and some more the Gatorades. And again, you're forced to drink it and it's already too late, but it'll at least get you home.
Right.
You want to go out, if I can say, if you're a 12 miles an hour person, 14, you want to leave and come home at that same speed. And that's what your computer is going to tell you.
Okay. All right. Very good. So we're going to move forward to the next slide, if it'll change for me. Okay, there. So this is another small commercial break. And then we're going to go into myth or methods. Is it a myth?
Hi, this is Savante Myrick. I am the mayor of the city of Ithaca, and it is my real pleasure to welcome you, cycling enthusiasts.
Oh, snap.
And members of the Major Taylor cycling clubs from around the country to Ithaca, to the Finger Lakes, to our community. What you are doing with the Harriet Tubman Freedom Ride combines things that at the core of what we cherish and value here in Ithaca, from the health, cultural, and sustainability benefits of cycling to the history, particularly recognizing the history of those brave folks, abolitionists, and freedom fighters who worked to liberate people from oppression. We appreciate that you are here, and we want to welcome you to our area.
So that's a little welcome from the mayor.
That is fantastic. That is wonderful.
Ithaca, see?
Yeah.
They're waiting for all of us.
Yeah, I was thinking while I was watching that, again, for anyone out there, if you haven't registered or you're on the fence, go to the Major Taylor Chicago website and click around and you'll see some more information, and come on and join us. So.
Okay, so I'm having technical difficulty right through here. So the next part of our discussion, then we're going to open it up to you all, the audience. So keep your questions coming into the chat. We're just addressing some of the main topics that the cyclists that were surveyed said would be great to hear Nelson address. So next was the section on, is it a myth or a method? And the first category in that section is carb loading. Is it a myth or is it a method to improving your cycling performance? What say you, Nelson?
It is a method. It's like, it is not like baking a cake, but it's the same science of the measurement. So what I mean by the same science of the measurement is what you eat is going to be your fuel for the next day of the event. If you're going to eat junk, it's going to burn like junk the next day. So carb loading, such as the quality of the pastas, yes, that does work. The eggs, the rice, the caramelized stuff, even dessert. But that's the night before a bike race or your big century ride, your big metric century that you haven't gone over 40 miles all summer. And so this is your big 50, 60 mile day. That's where you have a nice dinner the night before. You wake up early, you eat again. Be sure, and don't be ashamed, be sure to use the restroom, drink your drinks, drink your water, take your time. 24 hours, we all get 24 hours, so no rushing when you're taking off to meet the group rides. Have respect for your own time. We all have 24 hours, so don't be that person. I was that kid once, and I got scolded one time, and the next day it was amateur to professional life, just like that. It was that one guy, one time. So use your 24 hours wisely and be committed to yourself. to do your nutrition, eat your big meal, wake up early enough to take your time to do what you need to do in the morning, to get in the car, get there, and have fun for the ride, waiting over the top of your bike, ready to go.
Okay, awesome. All right, so keep your questions coming in. The next myth or method has to do with cramp prevention, right?
Yes.
If you've ever done these long rides, eventually, and perhaps it's due to improper conditioning, but sometimes you will experience cramps.
You
So
know,
the question is it pickle juice or mustard? How can we prevent cramps?
I smile at that so much, of the different things that the methods. It's folks, drink your water, number one. Drink your water, number one. Drink your energy drinks that make sense.
Mhm.
If you're gonna have a Coke during that time, great. But that intake of those fluids is great. If you are drinking the pickle juice or the other funky things during a ride, it's already too late. That's like trying to put something in your gas tank just to, you might as well get the back of your car and push. So with that said, in a smiling way, you drink your water on the ride, you do not sip. The only way to prevent cramps is to drink your water and stop and pee if you have to. Drink more water. But that rest area, if the group is going good and you don't want to stop, you stop and refuel, because you don't want to get to the point of no return, because then it's not fun at the end of the day. On any given ride, 10 miles, 15 miles for the beginners to your 60-mile first metric century.
Well, you know what, Nelson? I think with all these gadgets we have, people don't necessarily want to stop because they don't want to mess up their average speed.
Okay.
They may pull back on the drinking because they don't want the average speed to drop. So
Right.
how do they balance that?
Well, that's again with the nutrition factor, what they have. For me, I use a different product. I use the Goop products, folks. And they have my little tablets that they have. So it comes in a little shaker pack, and I put them in my pocket. I don't have a little bag on my bike. So it goes in my pocket. So when we do put a foot down, I'm able to drop a tablet in the bottle of water that I bought from the coffee shop, reload it in my water bottle along with some regular water. And that's what I drink. So you drink your water at the rest stop. Whatever energy, fun stuff that you like to do, remember, drink that bottle on the hottest day.
Okay, awesome. Okay, so I think at this point, let me share my screen again because we want to get to our audience. So people continue to post your questions in the chat. If there was something that wasn't addressed that you want to personally get Nelson's viewpoint on, definitely share that. So we're gonna watch this short video, and it's gonna talk about what inspired this ride, because this is the first of its kind in honor of Harriet Tubman, where we actually get to cycle the actual routes of the Underground Railroad routes that she and so many people took to freedom. So this is a video that our beloved planning committee members put together. Let me say share.
My name is Glenn Christopher. I'm a 1977 graduate of Cornell University and a member of Major Taylor Cycling Club Chicago. Last year, after riding the Selma 55 ride, which crossed the Pettus Bridge and followed the route that Martin Luther King followed with the Freedom Marchers back in 1965, I had an idea to celebrate Harriet Tubman. And I've worked with a committee of about 10 people in Chicago, which is expanded to include about 15 people here in Ithaca. And we have designed and are currently marketing a cycling event for cycling enthusiasts and members of Major Taylor around the country to travel here to Ithaca, New York for 3 days of cycling. I can't tell you how excited I am about the program and what we've built. It includes participation by Nelson Bales, the first African American to win an Olympic medal in cycling in 1984. He'll be here on Friday, and he'll be joining us as we tour Cornell University on our bicycles, as we enjoy lunch at Moose Woods, and then travel to the Southside Community Center for lectures on the Underground Railroad Research Project and a visit to St. James, which was an actual Underground Railroad stop. Then on Saturday, our cyclists are going to disperse at 6 a.m., 8 a.m., and 8:30. Some will ride 100 miles around Lake Cayuga. Others will travel from Myers Park directly to Auburn. Some will actually get a ride to Auburn and only ride back. But we're going to visit Harriet Tubman's gravesite and the home that she lived in for the last 50 years of her life. On Sunday, we've arranged for additional rides. We call them recovery rides. Although one of them's to Watkins Glen, and I don't know how I could call a 63-mile ride with 4,500 feet of elevation a recovery ride, but I do. The other one is to Taconic Falls. We also have chartered buses with Swathout, and we'll be taking some of our guests and their spouses on wine tours and waterfall excursions. So we've got a huge program with a lot of things going on. We're excited about it. And I expect that we'll be back next year in July and the year after that in July with larger and larger numbers of cyclists who find out what a great time, what a healing time, what an exciting and challenging bicycle ride we all experienced here in Ithaca, New York, and the surrounding areas.
All righty. So
Aren't those girls beautiful?
yes, I hope that gave you guys a feel for the passion that our chief dreamer, Glenn Christopher, has for this ride, and the impact and difference it'll make just to travel back in history to see what paths we now walk in because of those who came before us. So with that, I want to open it up to live Q&A, where you all get to ask Nelson specific questions, questions that you may feel like were not answered during our short dialogue earlier. So I am going to scroll and try and get to the first one here. All right, so somebody asked, are your speeds rolling? Let's see. Is your speeds rolling or average speeds?
I understand that. It's average speeds. Sometimes in my neighborhood, from I live 17 miles from the ocean. So from my neighborhood, it's up and down, mostly down. But once you get to the flats along Coast Highway, some of these small ups, I'm riding at 16, 17. Some of them I'm only riding at 14, but then on the return, I'm riding at 19, 20. So if you look on my Strava, which is public to everyone, you'll see a lot of my rides are only averaging 14, 16 miles an hour. And my loops are just out and back, and they all are recreational, so that I can actually, if I needed to, I can actually leave my driveway and ride 100 miles because of my awareness of the conditioning of the night before, the morning of, what I need to bring to take myself on this journey.
Okay. All right, another question. And just out of curiosity's sake, Nelson, the video behind you on that velodrome track, what speeds are you guys going at? Is that
you rolling from 20 miles an hour up to 45 miles an hour. And that 45 miles an hour period is for 300 meters.
wow?
Like what you see now, this is me racing in Japan. The first and only African-American to live and race in Japan for 5 spring seasons.
Wow.
That's pretty stuff. And so the evening with us at the dinner, I'll be able to display this and explain this for all our guests. This has never been seen before. So this is my home video from Japan.
Oh, nice, nice. Okay, another question. What about stairs, squats, aerobic exercise as conditioning? So like the concept of cross training, do you recommend that?
And it is a big yes. Fitness, core fitness is what everyone needs to focus on. So a strong back, strong abs to be able to do all the fun stuff. So just as what you just asked, that combination of moderation, whether you're doing it on a Monday and then you take a break because you're going to do this other thing on a Wednesday, but long as your activities off the bike is something different, then you get to burn those calories correctly, along with your conditioning to have fun on the bicycle at the end.
And I like how you emphasize having fun, because sometimes people can, because of their own desires, they overexert themselves. And when they cross the finish line, they are like exhausted, like almost wanting to collapse. And you're saying, don't condition yourself to that level. Condition yourself in increments so you're enjoying the journey from start to finish, right?
And that is correct. That was a yes or no, but that is correct. And just to add to what you're saying, to enhance what you're saying, is that tail end of the conditioning of how someone exerts themselves to the end. If you're able to do your first ride and ride 100 kilometers with one stop for water, 30 miles stop for water, 30 miles back, and get home and still be productive, now you're going good. If you can ride 100K, 62 miles, and still go home and rest a bit, get some lunch, but still be productive the rest of the day to do what you need to do with family, to have fun, that's when you're going good. So you do your 30-mile rides consistently to where you don't have to stop. You do that 40-mile ride with one stop, and then that 40-mile ride becomes a 50-mile ride with one stop. And then a 60-mile ride becomes a 60-mile ride with one stop. And it's okay to stop twice.
Or 3 times as you're building conditioning, right?
Yes.
Okay. All right, I have another question. All right, for someone that is obese using cycling as weight loss, especially with climbing, he may not be able to give any advice. Please don't say my name. Okay, I didn't say the name, but how can someone who's obese use cycling for weight loss, especially with climbing? How do they manage that?
Wow. Again, everyone and us all, most of us, we all have that hurdle that we are like this. So with that, as you complete your goal to losing that weight, to fit your goal and your lifestyle, it's not only cycling, but it's that walk down the block. Hey, secretly, guys, I bought some trainers online just so I can walk for 20 minutes. So I'm up at 5 in the morning anyway. So before I feed the cats, I go for a little 20-minute walk to the park and back. I don't try to go all around the park and bust out something. It's 20 minutes, come home, the coffee's already smoking in the French press. But that's what I do, because if I don't do that, I'm only gaining weight and not maintaining weight. So right now for me at 225, 220, and I feel you out there, if you can maintain to go lower, great. But the whole idea is to do something fun and fitness wise so that you at least can still eat and enjoy yourself. And of course, if you need professional help, hopefully you'll come across the right person to get that training kind of fitness help. You know?
But so in terms of cycling, do you feel like that is a targeted way to burn a lot of calories in hopes of burning fat, right?
And let me cut you off from there. And that is a big yes, because I would lose so much weight if I rode 100 miles tomorrow and I left on the scale, my out the door weight is 222, hypothetically, 222 pounds. I would come back and weigh myself and I'll be weighing 215, 216.
Yeah.
But that's because I lost it from the water and the sweat, yes. But now I don't have the discipline to eat the correct fuel to fuel myself to be good and not full of junk. And that's where it'll come right back at 220. Boom, 7 pounds just gone, you know, kind of like that. When you get sick, get your cold, you lose all this weight, you know, and it's like, wow, I feel nice. But then it's the discipline. We all have that problem.
Yes.
We don't
Yeah.
have that problem.
The cycling can help. Okay, another question. Is it possible, is there a possibility of peeing out your electrolytes if you drink too many electrolytes? Like, how does your body process overconsumption of electrolytes?
Okay. Again, moderation. The 2 water bottle rule. You drink your 1 water bottle, and then you eat. When you snack, you drink your electrolytes. How's that? You eat your energy bar, whatever snacks, you drink in your electrolytes. It's like having your soda when you're a kid, right? With your burger. So you combine that. That's what works for me.
Mhm.
That's what works for me. So now, as far as using up those electrolytes on a longer distance on a hot day, no, you don't pee out your electrolytes. All that salt comes out in your clothing. All that salt, it's going to come out, but then it's just the water. So if your urine is still clear, then you're good. Your electrolytes are actually working. But if it's golden, then it's already gone. And now you have to drink the Gatorades,
Mhm.
the quarts of
Mm.
it, to put it back, or go to the hospital and get some.
Right. Right. Okay, another question. Do things like Zwift, Peloton, and other indoor activities help?
Yes, I am a true witness of that. You are so surprised. I'm part of this. I know, hopefully I'm not advertising. I'm part of the Swift platform. That thing is hard and it's fun because I go at my own pace. Screw those guys, go around, bitch. They're going around me. Damn it, and I stop, put a foot down. Those things are, man, I come off there sweating. So my man, the person that's feeling a little over, that indoor platform thing and the sweat bucket underneath you is fun. And it's just a matter of putting the proper nutrition back after you finish those exercises.
Mhm,
But
mhm.
those things, again, that's like the racehorse in the barn and hasn't gone outside yet. All those people on Swift, they get out on the real road. They're kind of unsafe, squirrely, because they're on the Swift thing. I like to say that. I'm smiling for you guys. But they're so strong from this machine that when they hit gravity, it's a matter of them balancing it out
Mhm, mhm.
for the real gravity.
Yeah.
So it's a balance.
Okay, I like that. So how much do you sleep before rides? How essential is sleep to a successful ride?
Ooh, it is so important to be in bed. If you had to start, let's say I do the Grand Fondo New York events, GFNY events. Usually they're 6 a.m.ers.
Mhm.
I'm in bed at 9. Even if I'm not asleep, you got to be lying down. You want
Oh,
to get your 8 hours. So stop monkeying around. If you're going to flip channels in TV, you got to be flat
oh,
and in your room. And that's the discipline from the Olympic days. The coach doing room checks. You don't have to be asleep, but you're in your room, you're in bed.
mm,
And that's, you take that with you on your century when you're getting ready for the big day tomorrow.
mm.
Go to bed, stop fidgeting with all your crap that you should have done earlier from your 24 hours of messing with your bike before the morning of. You want to have that thing parked and you want to be in bed flipping channels, eating bonbons, whatever.
Okay. All right. So another question. Both pickle and mustard are used for relief of cramps, not so much for preventative. What do you think? So that's more like a statement.
That was a comment, and unfortunately, I can't answer that as Nelson Bales of the science
Mhm.
because I don't use either or. And revert back to old school. I drink my water. I don't sip my water because I've been there.
Okay. I don't know. Maybe it's placebo effect. When I'm at rest stops and they have pickle juice, I drink it and I don't get cramps. And I'm like, yes, the pickle juice worked.
Yes,
Maybe
and
I
that's
hydrated
certainly,
well.
if it's good to you, it's good for you.
Okay. All right. Very good. All right. Just a FYI, I have sorors from our cycling group. Oh, okay. Somebody. Yes. I'm happy somebody. Sorors are in the house. Okay. All right. Will the rides? Okay. So this question, will the rides be a no drop ride? Well, I can.
If you ride next to me, we're not getting dropped. I see you Friday. You better ride next to me. Nah, I don't know that game anymore, the no drop ride. number one, folks, I come from the 2x2 days, and I've always lived by bicycle rides where you ride 2x2. You cover so many miles because when you ride 2x2 and you pick your partner and go up and down 2x2, you don't do the miles come to you. But when people start moving like this bike race kind of thing, then it becomes no fun, but then that's your exercise and that's your thing. But as far as the group ride, yes, you're gonna get some folks that like to turn on their style, which is cool. Because people like to go uphill, great. I'll see you at the top, and they love you for that. And people like to go down and enjoy that wahoo part of it. So there's a love for both sides. And if we're gonna do a no drop ride and we're riding together on that Friday, we're gonna ride 2x2 and talk.
Right. So let's touch on being dropped. So in some of the group rides we have, many of them are no drop rides where no one will be left behind. But then there are some that are drop rides where if you can't maintain the speed, you will not be flowing with the group that can maintain the higher speed. Can you speak to the mindset one should have if they find themselves being dropped? Should they get mad or should they be motivated?
Good question. Good question. Again, it's when you go on that ride and you know or you did not know what you get yourself into, it's a good level for your mental. It's a good level to say, okay, I'm here, and you have to embrace that. There's a lot of people in my area, all these old dudes, California pros. The rides are the rides, and either you get picked up or you don't, and then you and somebody else is dropped off the back. But embrace that until you can build your fitness. And so don't get mad. Just smile about it and say, okay, I'm good. I'm gonna make it to the bridge next time, and I'm gonna go home. But then you gotta love yourself for saying, I did this part. And can I use this word? Fuck these dudes. I'm going home.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. The cool thing. I'm going home to my partner. See ya.
Right.
Have fun about your fitness, and don't get discouraged when you got that nice bike and you don't have good legs that day.
Right.
That day. Because then you with the group and then you're riding good and you don't know that somebody else got dropped. You got to think about that. So you got to turn the tables on how many times you go out with the group and you didn't look back at the other person that got dropped. Did you wait?
Right.
So let's look back sometime.
What brand bike do you ride now, and what brands have you ridden in the past, as well as discuss any preferences?
The current brand I ride now is a Canyon bicycle.
Canyon.
Several custom of them, you've seen them online. You too can get one on nelsonvales.com. Just send me a private message. I can send you a buy now code. So my buy now codes are only buy now because people buy them. So the bike could be sold before you buy it. Anyway, I've ridden Raleighs for most of my life. When I lived in Japan, I had a Japanese contract with San Rensho, who built all my bikes for the World Championships and when I lived in Japan. So it was pretty lucrative from the amateur days to the professional days to retirement, as I'm still a sponsored cyclist, a retired professional cyclist, still sponsored.
Okay, awesome. What is your advice, technique for climbing hills and getting better?
Wow. Technique for climbing hills.
Oh, look at that.
You asking, man, I don't climb so good anymore. I do not climb so good anymore. So if you want to know, this is me getting my money in Japan. This is where you collect your money, and it's all cash.
Oh, wow.
It's all cash, and it's 10 guys, and you collect your money for your races, and who knows, it's 7,000 US per se for 4 days of your time. But we're moving on. What was the question again?
What is your advice or technique for climbing hills?
Climbing. That gear. I'm gonna use myself again. I have a 1130 on the back of my bike. So 11 to 30. And I have a mid compact, and I live 16 miles up. So for me, again, I watch my heart rate and my breathing. I don't know watts. I didn't come from the watts era. So I always watch my heart rate and try to stay within that limit in my RPMs. So I find when I'm riding right around 79, 82 RPMs with that gear, I have that rhythm as it begins to kick up a little bit. Use your gears before you get there. Don't wait till you get to the struggle and then click, click. You click, click and get that RPM rolling to get smooth to continue forward. And now some people have more endurance than others. So again, you have to breathe and you have to flow with the rhythm. If you have a wheel to follow, it's that much easier.
Wow. So what is this in the background? Chase Back Shadow Flow.
This is one of my events from the L Tour Tucson, and I got dropped climbing. You'll see this at the show. I got dropped at the top of the hill, and those guys are way right there. You can't see them, but you could see them. And it's a slight downhill, and I'm chasing. So I could see them, but if they're riding at 25, I'm riding at 27. And I'm trying to get up to 30. But this is old pro days of when you get it caught up into the cars, you go that much faster. So it really works when you see the guys in bike races and you get into the car system, how much faster you're going 10 miles an hour faster than the group to catch up because you weave in and out of the cars. But don't follow me in my instructions because I am so dangerous on the road. Anyway, let's continue on.
Yes, continue on. Okay. What will be the average pace for Friday's ride? That ride with Nelson will be 10 to 12 miles an hour. Right?
Okay, that's good. I just want to be able to socialize with everyone. And again, I just look forward, and it's an honor to be able to videotape us communicating and riding. And if we're riding too fast and can't talk, then we're going too fast. So, as long as we can ride and enjoy and say, oh, look, and be safe about it. And the roads that Glenn was on look fantastic for us.
Okay, awesome. And another question, what are your thoughts on rollers versus trainers?
All are good. Rollers are for smoothness. I use rollers all my life. It helps keep you smooth, pedaling wise, good fitness, good workout, and you can't go wrong. And the trainer, again, if you use it properly and don't use it as a coat hanger, you really get something out of it.
Okay, so a comment here, I can say, as a bike shop owner of Nelson's Canyon Bikes, I have made a purchase through him. The bikes are great. Excellent service by Canyon. The bike is kick-ass, fast. So thank you for that comment. So I'm going to share my screen again because we have a little bit we want to share with you all. And please keep your questions coming through because we like that. So here we just want to take you through the routes that we have set up for the Ithaca ride. So we have 3 days of riding. Friday will be the pre-ride, riding with Nellie, the tour through Cornell. Then that night, the off-bike mixer, which will be a lot of fun. We may have some line dancing going on. So if you want to learn the latest lines, come with us. That'll be Friday night at the mixer. Then Saturday is the main day of the riding. And then Sunday are the recovery rides, as well as the option to do a waterfall excursion or a winery excursion. So what I wanted to do here is just show you guys the website, because all the information you need is on the HarrietTubmanFreedomRide.com website. And we even have a top 10 modeled by Mr. David Letterman show, right? Where some of the great facts and finds are there. But if you click on Freedom Routes,
yes,
this is where Nelson is going to give us just some guidance for things to think about as we're taking whatever routes you pick. And so also for those who may be new to doing this, we don't want you to get caught up in, oh, if I'm doing the half metric and other people are doing the metric, then am I not being a great cyclist? Choose your route and rock that route, right, Nelson?
Yes, that is correct. Again, you just want to have fun and it's okay to be the last one behind the sag because it's cool and you want to be able to take your time and still have fun on the other side, but you saw everything.
So Nelson, take us through this route, things to keep in mind. This metric.
Yes, if you can help me with the pointer there and at the beginning there, the metric, you look on the map on the right-hand side there. I don't want anyone to get all inclined on looking at the elevation. It's the scenery. So right there, you know, when we leave town, it's an uphill leaving town and it looks steep, but basically it's just like it's leaving town. So it's only a couple of blocks where it's just taking us up and out of town. And it's not as harsh as it does look as we climb to the highest point. It's basically gradually rolling up and down, but more ups than down till we get to the overlook up top. And then you still have rolling, even though it looks like it's going down, it's still up and down, but it's more downs on the other side.
Right.
And it's not a steep percentage at all. So it's designed for all levels within your recreational cycling fitness.
Then we'll have rest stops that are well equipped. We have SAG. This is the Major Taylor Cycling Club. So this is the Century route, right? And this route is 103 miles, so a little over 100 miles with 3,400 feet of climbing and 4,100 feet of decline. So what do you say to this?
Well, the fun part is you leave out of town on the other side. So you go down and out. And the nice part of this, it's not a steep down, but it's a nice gradual warm up. So be mindful of the morning weather. I'm not quite sure of the morning dew on it. May be one of those kind of things where you feel like you can start with arm warmers and a vest, but then at the first rest stop, put them in the car. To feel comfortable. You don't have to go out feeling strong because it's going to be a little morning dew wind chill as we leave town and you get to the valley floor. And then again, climbing up out of the other side, it's just a little bit of rollers, but you go mostly up and there's stops along the way until you get to the high point there and then back down the other side.
But this is a nice long extended incline, right?
Yes, well, that incline, again, it's one of those kind of things when you're riding and talking and not really racing it, it becomes more enjoyable.
Right.
Like that. If you had to race it, then it's a lot different because of the effort. Then you get back to the hotel and then you're tired at dinner and don't really want to do anything.
I learned that for another ride. I did the Century, and by the time I finished and came back, people were packing up. I missed most of the fellowship. So I decided if I haven't conditioned to finish the Century like in 5 hours or so, then I would do the metric just so I can come back, cross the finish line and have fun and fellowship. And that's a part of this experience too, right?
Yes, that is true. And so I don't want people to feel peer pressure to go the long route. But again, if you feel you're good with the rest areas, and again, we'll revisit the rest areas on where what is, because the rest areas are every 20 miles, then we're good, because that's where you can refill your water bottle and put a foot down for a minute and eat something and not have to eat and ride.
Right. This is the last route option. This is the half metric. And all these details are right on the website. So 32 miles here. So what do you say about this incline? This
again, it just looks poor on the map, my ride, but it's just rolling up. You ride straight a couple of blocks out of town, and then you begin to go down again, and then you start rolling up and out of town. And again, these roads, if you saw the video earlier with Glenn, these left and right turns and these nice little rollers where you could see the top. Kind of like that. You're rolling down and then you can see the top and then you look again and then it's like, oh, here's another up again. But it's kind of for fun up as you roll up and down.
You know, I can tell you when I did the Selma 55 bike ride in February last year, there were a ton of rolling hills. And, you know, the one mantra I kept saying to myself is, if they can walk this route from Selma to Montgomery, Alabama, certainly I can ride a bike on it. And so no matter how slow I went, I was determined to keep pedaling. So when you're taking these hills, you don't have to be the fastest up the hill. Just don't stop, right? Just
Yeah, well, yeah, and use your gears. Again, you have to be able to use your gears
Mhm.
in moderation. And if you have to, for those again, if don't feel bad, if you need to put a foot down and take a breather and drink your water because you can't drink and ride, you stop and put a foot down because you live to see another day.
Right. Awesome. Love it. So that is the commentary for the rides. I'm going to stop sharing, see if we have any additional questions. So another question here, how many riders are we expecting? Listen, we would like to sell this out. So if you and all your crew can register, we can sell this puppy out. We're expecting anywhere from 150 to 200 people. We have a cap for 350. We wanted to have some intimacy to it. So anything you can do to rally your tribe and get them to join us in Ithaca, we would love it because we think it's going to be an awesome experience.
Yes.
Let's see, any other questions? Somebody posted bike metrics. Let's go, Soros. Yes, yes, Robbie. Encourage all your Soros to join us. So with that, I'm gonna just post again. Anybody have any last minute questions? Any thoughts you have for Nelson? I have a question for you, Nelson.
I'm listening.
And talking about building advocacy for the next generation to come up and see the world of cycling as a sport, right? A way to make a living and thrive. How can we as a club, a network of clubs, kind of pour into that vein to build the next Major Taylors, the next Nelson Bells? How can we get involved in that?
You know, the involvement comes from being involved with the parent of that child. For me,
All right, Chicago.
don't worry, let's get it going. Don't worry, we got it.
Okay.
It was me, yeah, being parent, the parenting. So I had the freedom to play baseball, to play football, to ride a bicycle, to ride a skateboard. So for our parents, if any of our listeners out there, if the neighbor kid is heading in that direction because they all ride bikes in the cul-de-sac, then yeah, the parents as a group got to get them together because that's what was done for us in Harlem. It was a group of kids on bicycles, but we always parented to do the events. And for me, I launched myself with Central Park in the Harlem bike race. So I had some stepping stages, community stuff, but for the cycling club, again, it starts with the parent to encourage the kid to make it fun, not force fed. That come on, it's gonna be fun. For me, it was come on, it's gonna be fun. You're gonna have a great time. Oh, no worry, you got last place. That was great. We're going to McDonald's. Woo! You know, and that's making your day of come on, we're gonna get them next time.
Right.
You know, so the encouragement of the parents for the kids.
Okay. And Glenn, I want to give you a second to hop on the line to share about the Young Major Taylor cycling group in Georgia, where they're sending about 20 kids from Middle State, Georgia, up to Ithaca to participate in this ride. Glenn, if you can cue your slides, I don't even know if you're at your computer, but if you can.
Of course I'm at my computer.
Okay. While you're getting that set up, let me ask a question of that was posted here. Oh, my chat moved. So thank you guys for sending questions. So this question says, I'm newer to serious riding. If I can do a 30-mile day somewhat comfortably now, do you think I can build up to the metric by the July ride in Ithaca? How often should I be riding to build up to that? So they're doing 30 miles comfortably now. They want to do the metric, kind of set that new PR for themselves in Ithaca. How can they build from today 30 miles a day to 62 by July?
That is a fun question because I do it every other Grand Fondo to ride 80 miles, 100 miles. So for you at 30, the nice part is if you can do that 30 solo, then you're in the win by yourself. Great, because if you do the 30 with the group, then you should be able to do 40 with the group. So
Okay.
if you're gonna come and do the ride with Ithaca, if you can do 40 solo, then you're good to ride with the group, because once you're following and not in the front, again, the miles come to you. You do not do the miles.
Mm, I like that. Okay, Catherine, I hope that answered your question. Glenn, are you ready to cue that up so we can impart more inspiration? And then also for you all, net proceeds from this ride will go to support the Southside Community Center in Ithaca, as well as the St. Augustine Cycling Club. It's the first African-American cycling club at the collegiate level at a HBCU. So Glenn is gonna highlight this awesome Major Taylor Club that was in Selma that was totally inspiring. They led a reenactment that was really awesome. So Glenn, if you can share what this club will do for us in New York, that would be great. Glenn, you're on mute. Do I need to stop sharing? You are viewing? No. Glenn? We can't hear you.
And unmute myself.
Yes, there you go.
Sorry about that.
Okay, no problem.
I was just following protocol. I was told to mute.
No problem.
Okay. First of all, I think we're winding down. So let me say thank you to Nelson and thank you, Tina, for moderating. I think this was a great exchange, and I hope that all of our guests got great value out of this. One of the most touching moments for me personally during the Selma 55 ride, and the Selma 55 ride is the motivation for this idea that we've seen come alive, the Harriet Tubman Freedom Ride, was at Rest Stop 2. Back in the day during the march, the marchers slept overnight at a variety of different locations along the route. So the thing that we called Rest Stop 2 was actually Campsite 2 for the marchers. And there's a small park there and a museum. And I walked into the museum and I could hear voices, and it sounded like it was organized and something was going on. And I came around the corner and I saw some of these young people here performing a skit. I mean, the skit brought tears to my eyes because these young people were so powerful and so passionate, and they were so articulate. And I just felt like our future is secure just watching them. I took out my phone and made a video. But as we've gone down this journey called the Harriet Tubman Freedom Ride, these young people have reached out and contacted us. 23 of them are going to be attending the Harriet Tubman Freedom Ride. They are also preparing skits, and they'll be able to do spoken word poems that highlight the victories of Harriet Tubman and Frederick Douglass. Half of them are going to be riding the half metric, half of them are going to be riding the metric. So you'll see them out on the roads with us, and if you're lucky, you'll get to see them perform. I certainly am going to ask them to do one performance around 3:30 or 4 o'clock in Myers Park, which would probably be the best chance for everybody to see them. But this is just a marvelous, marvelous group of young people. Major Taylor, Middle Georgia, is a club that has 43 members. All of them are between the ages of 14 and 18. And I am so inspired by these young people and so glad and appreciative that they're going to be with us. My club is actually raising scholarship money for some of these kids. But there will be 23 of them there, and they will be coming at a deeply discounted registration fee as well. I did want to make two comments, and I may have forgotten what one of them was about, but someone asked a question about will the ride, or will I get dropped? We have about, for our Saturday rides in particular, we have about 25 volunteers from the Finger Lakes Bicycle Club that will be interspersed between the groups. But at least 1/3 of these volunteers are going to be sweepers. So no one is ever going to be behind a sweeper. I can promise you that. And I also want to just chime in on the routes conversation and say that the way the routes are aligned and the way the start times are aligned, most of us, in fact, all of us, will be riding from Auburn after visiting Harriet Tubman's gravesite and the Harriet Tubman home. We'll be riding from Auburn back to Myers Park together. The routes are all synchronized. And then the last thing I'll say about that route back, the last 12 miles includes 800 feet of decline. There's a little bit of incline, but this is a ride where you get your work in early and often on the rolling hills. But once you get to the last 12 miles, you literally don't have to pedal. It's going to be all downhill, except for a small, 200-yard incline. It's going to be absolutely fabulous. I've ridden the routes and made a few videos, and I just love it. Anyway, I look forward to seeing you and you and you and you and all of your friends in Ithaca, New York. We're going to have an awesome time. Thank you.
Yes. So with that, I'll open it up for any other questions. And while you may be contemplating if you should type your one last question, I do want to give an opportunity to acknowledge the pastor that is on the call. I can't see my participants list, but is Pastor King still on the line, Glenn? Pastor King, if you are still on the line, Terrence, is it Terrence King?
It's Terrence King, but I think he signed in.
Oh, okay. I just wanted to give him a...
I don't see him here.
Okay, all right. He's the pastor of the current, one of the current official Underground Railroad stops, the church that we will visit during the stay. So you know what? I'm not gonna belabor and extend our time any further. I totally thank you, Nelson, for your time, your contribution to myself, the club, and all the people on the line. I hope you guys experienced a shift in how you're thinking about your own fitness and your life on the bike, right, Nelson? Nelson, do you have any closing words that you want to provide to inspire us to stay active, to stay on the bike, and to be in Ithaca with us?
Well, for those, first of all, that is unable to join us this year, we'll look forward to the next year as we get through this time. Just stay focused within yourself, be kind to others, and continue to ride your bike, even if it's for a little bit. You don't have to do a whole lot, but just for a little bit. And for those that are joining us, I look forward to this time together. We're going to make history. I'm going to get a chance to share my story of my travels around the world with the national team, teammates, people like Les Barczewski out there, how we spend so much time together, and to be able to do things like this. I'll be able to share my story with all of you, and we're going to make history together. So we're going to have a great time.
Awesome. Now, just out of curiosity's sake, what speed were you going in this race right here?
This is from the Olympics, one of the Olympic races. They're all 42 miles an hour top speed.
Wow, that is.
Again, you'll be able to see this if you come together with us or do a Nelsonville show. You'll be able to see this in full narration.
Yes. So join us. So with that, I'm going to wrap the call and thank you all for your time and attention. Go to www.harriettubmanfreedomride.com. Register. Early bird specials are still in play. Join us. We would love to have you. Thank you all so much. Have a good day. That was awesome. How are you doing?
Thank you, Tina.
Oh, you're welcome.
Great job, Nelson.
Wow, thank you guys. Wow. Hey, Les, I know you hear me. Thanks for the mute. Thanks for joining us. Alan, I see you out there, and some other folks. I see everyone out there. Clay, thanks so much, all you guys that joined us. We made history by just doing this now. As we can come together, eventually we'll all be able to come together and raise our glasses in the same room.
Yes. We're going to be at the Homewood Suites in Ithaca, which is one of the main hotels that we will be staying. We do have group rates, so take advantage of those. Those group rates are ending June 22nd at the Homewood Suites and the Rouge Hotel, and July 1st for the Courtyard Marriott. We will be staying, look, when I say we, I'm pointing to you and I, Nelson, and many other people. We will be staying at the Homewood Suite. So we're gonna have a great time. As you can see, Nelson is very personable. He wants to slow roll and chat. Well, see, he's not gonna do his 45 miles an hour with us on Friday. He's gonna do regular people speed. And it'll be historic, because how many of us can say we rode with our first and only Olympic champion, our first and only African-American Olympic champion? So that in itself is history. And then to cycle the actual Underground Railroad routes, amazing. To enter the spaces that slaves were held in the stations, amazing. To see the room that Harriet Tubman taught Bible study, amazing. To sit before the podium that Frederick Douglass gave a moving speech from, amazing. So we're gonna have just a ton of fun. We're gonna be moved by our ancestors. And so we encourage you all to invite your people, invite your tribe to be there. Double up, triple up, quadruple up in the hotel rooms. It doesn't matter, because most of your time will be outside the room anyway. So, so I'm just rambling because there's an audience.
Hey, this is good. Hey, quick shout out, Raja, Carrie. I see you guys all the way down in Texas. We got an international buddy. He's all the way down in Mexico. He wish he could join us.
So who's Raja? Is this like a part of your race team, or?
That's part of the crew. Raja and I, another guy, we grew up riding bikes together, and he's like, yeah, if you would see us together, you would think that we're twins, kinda. He's there though, but yeah, we ride the same road.
Wow.
How's that?
That is awesome.
An awesome velodrome rider along with everyone else. So
this is so cool.
Yep, and they all share the history. So there's another gentleman. I don't know if you could see. He's on your screen. His name is Les Barshevsky. It says Leslie Barshevsky. Les took me to the World Championships, and we won that thing.
Oh, did you? So he's a racer too?
Yeah, and he's two young guys on the band.
It's not real. This is just.
And he's down there. So
What you buying? Pringles.
We can hear you.
Monster. Monster drink? No, not.
Okay, I just muted to me.
Thank you.
But
yeah,
so Leslie, he's a cyclist too? So is Leslie coming to Ithaca as well?
He can't make it this time around.
And what about Raja?
Retired. He just came back from a road trip. He was here visiting with us. And so he said he wants to come and do all this stuff now that he's all retired. He's going to start following us. Alan, another guy. It's like, yeah, we're just going to go where you go and have all these fun rides like this.
Yeah.
What a great way to do some fitness and see some stuff.
Yes, and to travel back in history. So is Alan coming to Ithaca too?
Alan could not make it. Alan is actually training for the Livestrong event.
Oh.
So he's training conditioning to ride 100 miles. So he's doing a lot of time in the saddle on his days off and during the times where he goes to work a little later in the afternoon. So yeah, we all communicate out there.
So what's the time for someone at his level to finish a century ride? What does that look like? How
8 hours?
8 hours to finish the century?
8 hours. That's stopping, recreational, taking pictures. Yeah,
okay.
If you're gonna race it, it's less than 4.
Okay, that's like racer.
Without stopping, it's less than 4 hours. But if you're gonna go like me, it's gonna be for sure more than 6. But maybe 8 because you come back still smiling, and then you can walk in. So yes. All right, folks. At the top of the hour, we're moving on to some family business. So thank you so much.
Yes. And it's still kind of early in California, right? It's late.
Oh yeah, it's good. It was a 90-degree day today.
Oh, okay. So nice and warm. Okay. Well, we look forward to seeing you in Ithaca, you, Nelson, and everyone on the line. So any questions, reach out to us. We have a Facebook page, Harriet Tubman Freedom Ride, or Major Taylor Chicago, or the website. So reach out to us. All right, I'm going to end the meeting.
Thank you, Tina.
Thank you all.
Thank
Have a
you,
good
everyone.
Great job, Tina. Great job.
Thank you.
You're the best.
Thank you.
We're all doing it. It takes a team.
You're the best. Great job.
Oh yeah, thank you. So did you record it? Did it all get recorded? Are we gonna post it just as people wanna watch it? So